we are to have any semblance of holiness. Do this!
Peace, unity, and welcome my conscious and unconscious family and friends. This is the all-new Village Community Podcast, and I am truly your host of the show, JC, a.k.a. Afro Black, dropping nothing but the raw and uncut, without any fear, as I use my mic as a spear to chucker you with liberated truth. I am your host and your native soldier in the struggle. My purpose and mission for this show is first to enlighten, inform, and engage. And I want to engage with all who claim to know the truth. All truth seekers and my native family, I welcome you. This show is dedicated to all our indigenous native ancestors and to all those who've carried the mantle of truth, and to every person with the ability to throw off the chains of comfortable habit and unwarranted assumption and move in a new, liberated direction that is guided by truth and observational evidence, no matter where that direction may lead you. My main objective and purpose here is freedom, mind, soul, and spirit. That being said, welcome to Village Community Podcast, and much love from our great universal goddess and mother of all, living here and above.
DC in the house.
With your host, JC, a.k.a. Afro Black. The spear chucker that shut down you sucker.
This is how we ride and roll. Soldier for life for sure. Hey. This is JC, a.k.a. Afro Black, here at the all-new Village Round Table Talks. And if you've tuned in, if you've chimed in, if you happen to just bump in, you bumped into the Village Round Table Talk. And I'm here with you. This is JC, a.k.a. Afro Black, and I am your brother, your indigenous American Indian brother from another American indigenous mother. Do you feel me? Dropping nothing but the raw and uncut here on the Village Round Table Talk. I just love saying that word, the Village Round Table Talk. I love saying that. You feel me? And I'm here to give everybody an update, for tomorrow's podcast show. I do a show every other Sunday. So I'm here to drop nothing but the raw. And let me play some music in the backdrop so we can have something to vibe to other than my intro music. You feel me? So let me bring this into the cut here. Oh, not that right there. Here we go. Hey, there you go. I love hip hop music, people. So I got, you know how I do it here on the Village. Got to play that hip hop music. So I am here to give everybody an update for this tomorrow's Sunday podcast. I'm doing a conclusion. Did you hear me, people? I'm doing a conclusion to what? To what I've been doing for the past 3 weeks, every other Sunday. I've been doing a podcast titled American Indian Matriarchy and Religion. So I'm doing a conclusion to that. I'm going to conclude it hopefully this coming Sunday. Hopefully I can end it and start a new podcast topic that I got a whole lot of topics, a whole lot of things I want to share with the indigenous community, with my family, with my Niji family. You feel me? I got a lot of brothers and sisters out there. They're, they having open discussions. They talking about ancient, how old and how ancient America being the first and the original, where everybody have come from, shutting down the Pan-African theory of the out of Africa theory. I got brothers like Dan Calloway doing these things. You feel me? Aboriginal power, brother Grizzly dropping the raw and uncut. You know what? I missed the brother, but he's still out there too. Brother Atanchinus one out there dropping the raw and uncut. You feel me? There's a lot of brothers and sisters. Tasha X be dropping the indigenous raw and uncut. I just have to give it up to all those Niji researchers out there that are unafraid, unintimidated, unadulterated, dropping the raw and uncut indigenous truth to the community every time they get an opportunity. Do you feel me? And so that's what we all about here on the village. We all about the raw and uncut. You feel me? And so that being said, I'm going to conclude. Hopefully, this tomorrow, I will be concluding uh, that podcast topic: American Aboriginal matriarchy and religion. Now, I've enjoyed doing, talking about that. I've enjoyed vibrating and communicating with my family, talking about, you know, what our people worshipped, how our people, going into what, how, who, and why. Do you feel me? You feel me? Going into what, who, why, and what, who, and why. What did our people worship? And I talked about that. I talked about how the Southern Indians, the Southeastern Indians, the Indians from the Mississippi basin of what is now New Orleans, Alabama, Mississippi. Do you feel me? How those Indians were called sun worshipers. They were called sun worshipers, yes. And I showed the information for that. You can go check out my podcast, my past podcast, where I talked about that the sun was an image no different than the cross is to the Christian. The sun was a metaphorical image of the great spirit and the continual eternal burning fire that each and every indigenous community kept a fire burnt, which is also a symbolic representation of the great sun. Do you feel me? The question is, why don't our people, and that's what I'm going to conclude this coming Sunday, I'm going to talk about that. Why don't our people acknowledge their old indigenous ceremonial spiritual way of life anymore? Why have things become more patriarchal? And I'm saying patriarchal because I talked about who our people honored and worshiped. What gender was the great deity that they called the great spirit, the great mystery spirit that the people worship? Was there a gender? Was the deity didn't have a gender? Did the deity have a gender? I talked about that as well. And I told my people, and I told you guys, and I'm going to tell you again, they honored the great spirit from the feminine, female divine. Most people don't know that. Most people haven't researched far enough to find that. And most people have a hard time finding it. I had a hard time finding the truth. But I shared that truth with you guys. You feel me? I can share it with you right now. You feel me? But I'm not, this is just an update. Do you feel me? You know what? I'll do all that. I will do more. I will show some more conclusions. And in my conclusion this Sunday, I will share some and touch on some of the things I already touched on, showing you that the Cherokee, the Natchez, the Ojibwa, the Chickasaw, the Chickahominy, the Caddo, they were all called sun worshipers. They were called sun worshipers for a specific reason. And they were called sun worshipers when Europeans first came into contact with these tribes. Let me tell you something. My conclusion on my research and what I've done, I've come to the conclusion that Europeans, just like they were back then, they still are today. They are chauvinistic, biased, sexist, and bigoted about telling the truth of what these indigenous tribes did during first contact. Now, I'm saying that because even though I got some information that verifies that they were sun worshipers, that they worshiped the female deity, that information is very fragmented, very is thrown out there sparsely, meaning not everybody has caught on to it. Not everybody's willing to talk about it when it comes to historians, archaeologists, and researchers. And as a result of not many wanting to talk about it, not many has documented it, and those who have documented has documented very little information. Obviously, these European Eurocentric researchers are still being ridiculed for dropping the truth. But you know what? I appreciate those who have dropped the truth. I appreciate those who did tell it. You feel me? Even though they're chauvinistic Eurocentric Europeans. But that being said, I'm going to conclude. I'm going to conclude tomorrow's show, and I'm going to end it on why did our ancestors honor a female divinity, and why don't our people do it anymore? This is what I'm going to conclude tomorrow. I'm going to share that. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to share information. I'm going to show information. Do you feel me? Concluding American Indian matriarchy and religion. Another reason why I've come to a conclusion that most of these historians, archaeologists, and researchers on indigenous American history are chauvinistic, biased, sexist, and bigots. Because when they do talk about it, those who do, I was reading a book just yesterday and the day before yesterday, concluding my research on this matter. And the book that I was reading from, matter of fact, let's see if I can pull this up. I'm going to pull this book up right quick. This book was so biased and lack of information and touched on things from a very chauvinistic male perspective. And I say that because whenever you don't talk directly to or give firsthand or secondhand account of what people said and done, but you only want to give your perspective of what the people are doing, that's a very biased situation. And many Europeans have done that and still do that to this day. When it comes to talk, they'll talk to the indigenous warriors, they'll talk to the indigenous male chiefs, get firsthand account from these men. But when it comes to what the women were doing, how they were doing it, what they were doing, and giving specific detail, you're only going to get the Eurocentric perspective of what these women were doing. They don't talk to the women. They don't give first or secondhand account directly from these women. They don't talk about whether the women were chiefs. If they were, they won't go into detail about it. They might just sporadically, briefly say something and then move on to the next subject. And I've come to the and I keep seeing this pattern in all these Eurocentric writings, historic writings on indigenous American Indians here in America. Just constant pattern of leaving out the women's voice, leaving out the indigenous women's experiences, and leaving out what the indigenous women were doing from their perspective. And it's annoying. It's really annoying, people. And I've been running into that. And let me show this book right quick. Let me grab this book. Let me grab this book right quick, right? I'm gonna show you this chauvinistic book, but it got some good information in it. I got what I can out of it, but let me there we go. This book right here. Okay. All right. This book right here. Let me put this book up here right quick and let you guys see this. I mean, there's a lot of good books out there, but no matter what book you run into, no matter what book you find that is done by a so-called American Indian historian, if it's done by a European, even some American Indians out there, that's been educated by our system, they're only given a male perspective. They not. I mean, when they talk about women, when they talk about what the women were doing, they still giving a male perspective. I mean, this book right here. Okay, people. Y'all see that book right there? That book right there. Artlist.io. Let me go on over here. Okay, yeah, you see that book right here. It says Native American Religion and Introduction. Now, when it comes to how old this book is, let me move something out the way right quick. Artlist.io. Let me go back over here right quick. Okay, this book was written in 1993. At least that was the last publication of this book. But when you look at it, it says Native American Religions, an Introduction, Carmody, Dennis Lardner, 1935, Carmody and John, 1939. And then it says last publication was in 1993. I'm going to say this again, and I was going to say that. I'm going to say it on the show Sunday, but I'm going to say it right now again. whenever you're doing research, and I'm pretty sure a lot of brothers out there who do the research, they know this, but whenever you're doing research on any history of our indigenous ancestors here in North, South, and Central America, when it comes to historians, archaeologists, when it comes to that information, anything 19th century on, not backwards, forward, coming forward. 19th century, 20th century, all that. They leave out so much information. They lie about so much information. They omit so much information. It's ridiculous. Raw and uncut. I'm gonna give it just like that. Okay. Whoa. I was seeing half the book. There you go. Okay. These people don't want us knowing the truth. They're trying to hide things. You feel me? They're trying to hide things. Real talk. So, and I'm saying that based on the fact that when I've read books, I got a book right now I can show again. Okay, Cherokee women, gender, and wait a minute, maybe let me just put this book up right quick. I'm just gonna show y'all. Okay, I'm not playing with my family. I want y'all to know the raw and uncut truth. This book right here. Where's it at? Where's the book at? Let me show. I got it. It's up here. I just gotta find the book. Give me a minute, everybody. Bear with it, brother. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Okay, this right here. This book right here. This book is titled Cherokee Women, Gender and Culture Change from 1700 to 1835. You heard me. Again, the book is titled Cherokee Women. Let me put it up so you can see what I'm talking about. Artist.io. Okay, here we go right here. This book right here. Okay, Cherokee Women, Gender and Culture Change from 1700 to 1835. A lot of truth in this book. A lot of truth. Even though there is some manipulation. There's some they leave some things out as well, but you get more truth out of it. They give you more detail and more truth. Whenever you get to a book from the 1900s to the 20th century and on and forward, less truth, less detail. I don't. The only thing I can say is that they trying to hide the truth. You feel me? Okay. But even in this book, as it says, Cherokee women, gender and culture change. The book is telling you what's going on. When you read the book, you get a lot of detailed information on what the women were doing and how they were doing. I'm gonna share some of that on the show tomorrow. But you also get an opportunity to see how there was a culture change as a result of what? European contact and forced Christianity on our people, forcing the Cherokee to accept Christendom. And as a result, the Cherokee tried to adapt Christendom to their way of life. They didn't want to be Christians, but as a result of the pressure, as a result of the of their surroundings changing, their and the forced assimilation, they adapted a lot of Catholicism and Christendom to a lot of the things. And this is what you see today when you go see Cherokees. They say that their God is a male. His name is Yahweh, Yowa, 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 and they try to say that has everything to do with Yahweh and all this other crap. All that stuff is nothing but European interference. And got to remember, we all know that due to the Cherokee becoming a part of the so-called 5 civilized tribes, they stuck a half-breed white Cherokee, as his name is Joseph, whatever. Can't remember his last. Joseph. Y'all researchers know who he is. And he changed a lot of things as well because he was a Christian himself. You feel me? So the importance of us knowing the truth of our history is the importance of us giving us an opportunity not only to know the importance of our true culture and what our people originally practiced and did of old times, regardless if it was bad or good, but it gives us an opportunity to refine, to make changes ourselves, not force changes of assimilation and indoctrination, is exactly what Europeans did in the early stages of this country. They forced our people to accept no choice. You feel me? They were ridiculed. They were beaten. They were mistreated. As I was saying, they were ridiculed. This is one of the reasons why, when it comes to the Cherokee people, see, Cherokee chiefs did not talk to the white man, the European white man, without a female elder being present. And in most cases, the female elder was the one who negotiated political terms with Europeans. Europeans didn't want to talk to the women. So why would any Eurocentric European white man today, who still struggles with respecting his own woman, tell the truth about indigenous women? Why would he? Why would he tell the truth in his own so-called research work about indigenous women, about how much power they had, influence they had, rather if they were the spiritual teachers and leaders of the family and community? Why would they tell that truth when they did not like what the women were doing in the first place? They don't. The first people these Europeans subjugated were their own women. Were their own women. Go do European research on the European culture of England, Ireland, and Greece, and you'll see originally their women owned the land. Originally, their women owned the home. They took that from their women, took the land from their women, took the property from their women, took the wealth from their women. And they did this all in a short amount of time of what was called the Dark Ages. Right before the Dark Age. The Dark Ages is called the Dark Ages for more than one reason. It's more than just the fact that they were Europeans were dying from disease and disgusting nastiness of their own filth. It's more than just the fact that they were conquered by the Moors. It's more than just the fact that they were killing their own black Europeans and replacing them with white monarchs, because a lot of the original European monarchs were dark melanated people. It's more of the fact that they was suffering from a lack of literacy and all that. It's more than that. These people also were taking the wealth from their own women, from their mothers, from their grandmothers. And so by the time Europeans came into exploring outside their own country, by that time they had Europe in their own hands, underneath the so-called patriarchy of the Catholic crown. Real talk. So we're gonna talk. I'm gonna conclude Sunday's show. You feel me? So I got that out the way. All right. This just had to touch on some things on that level. So let me move this out the way. Go back, yeah, feel me. I also want to talk about my next podcast subject I'm going to be doing. The next podcast subject I'm going to be touching on. It's going to be titled, "Why Should We Vote?" That's going to be my next podcast topic, everybody. Should we, as American Aborigines, should we, as self-identifying as our identity as American Indians, as American Aboriginal Indians specifically, should we be participating in what they call the democratic process? I'm going to talk about that. Not now. I'm just going to touch on it right now, but I'm not going to get into it because I'm going to spill a whole lot of information when I start the podcast topic and subject matter the Sunday after next Sunday. You feel me? But that's going to be the next topic that I'm going to talk about. It's going to be tight. And I'm talking about it because I'm pretty sure everybody can imagine why. I'm going to talk about it because why? Well, the presidential elections are around the corner. And you got everybody wanting to participate. But the podcast topic is going to be called, after I'm concluding this Sunday, after I make this the last part 4 of the subject matter, American Indians and matriarchy, American Indian matriarchy and religion. My next podcast topic subject will be called, "Why Should We Vote?" Why should we vote, people? Should we be voting? Should we participate? You got some people who say we should participate because, we had too many melanated people during the civil rights movement who suffered as a result of us being able to have the right to vote. The whole shebang in the history of the civil rights movement, before Martin Luther King and after. You got people saying we those people died for us. They had dogs sicked on them. They were ridiculed, they were beaten, they were slandered, they were hurt, they were wounded, they were shot, they were killed for us to be able to vote. And it's a hurtful thing when you think about what our people went through for us to vote. It's a hurtful thing, people. Let me let everybody know you can see me. Let me take. Here I am, people. There you, I'm right here at the village, as you can see, dropping nothing but the raw and uncut, telling you the raw and uncut. Question is, should we be voting? Should we vote, people? Should we participate in a process that doesn't care to hear our voice? Should we participate in a process that does nothing but give us the bare minimum? What I say the bare minimum? Well, we have an opportunity to work in this system, though we have to put up with all types of mess from those in charge. And though we realize and understand that they make sure they're the dominant people in charge of every institution, business, corporation, and even burger place. They make sure they're the dominant people and they know who I'm talking about. We have to live under their domination no matter where we go. They make sure they're the ones in charge. And if they do have somebody in charge that look like us, they make sure that they are under their thumb so that they're still got their eyes and ears on everybody. So that being said, do we really have a voice in this system? Do we have political representation in this system? Most of all, when it comes to voting, do we have political representation? We know corporations have political representation all day long. They pay for lobbyists to make sure that they have political representation. You feel me, people? This is what lobbyists are for, to make sure that they have more than just a voice. They got power when it comes to Congress, when it comes to the Senate, when it comes to the House. Do you feel me? So the question is, should American Aboriginal Indians, those of us who are self-identifying, yes, I said self-identifying because you got some of their agents out there telling us that we're not American Aboriginal unless we got a card. I'm calling them agents. Anybody who's saying that you got to have a government issued DAS Rolls List government ID card to say that you are an American Indian, you're an agent. You heard me. Whoever you are, wherever you are, if you got something to say, chime in. You can call my show whenever I'm on a live. My number is scrolling across the screen right now. It ain't gonna cost you a dime if you're living in the boundaries of the U.S. vicinity. If you're living in Mexico, if you're living in Canada, if you're living in North America, anywhere in North, the dime is on me. You can call in, and they're gonna cost you a dime, just a bit of your indigenous conscious time to share your thoughts live right now with me. JC, a.k.a. Afro Black, here on the Village Roundtable Talks. You can chime in at 518-425-1735. Again, that is 518-425-1735, and you need the key to get through the door, which is 976776, 976776, and you can join me right here on the Village, and I can hear you, and everybody else who's on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram can hear you live right here on the Village, and share your thoughts. I'm gonna tell you right now again. You got agents out there. It's all about the the people who are running this system. It's all about magic with them. The magic of what? The delusion and illusion. You feel me? Get everybody off their game. What we should be doing right now, even though we're not unified as we should be as American Indians, as American Aborigines, even though brothers and sisters are waking up every day and caring about who they are, wanting to know who their true ancestors are, not wanting to go with the daily program of indoctrination and assimilation, saying that our people came across the Pacific or across the Atlantic Ocean on boats, knowing that we know the truth due to research, that there were more Indians shipped out of America than Africans brought in America. There were more Indians, again, shipped out of America to Europe, to all the other countries that bought slaves, and even Africa, and then brought right back here to their homeland. And due to the maritime laws, they changed their identity because they were considered property. Come on, the gig is up, everybody. We know the truth. We know the truth, people. This is our homeland. Do you feel me? So, due to the fact I raised the question again, should we be voting in a system where we have no political representation? A system that doesn't respect the poor, doesn't respect American Indians, never have. And their children today are following in somewhat the manipulative footsteps of their ancestors and forefathers who didn't care about Indians. They're making sure they keep along the lines of their forefathers' agenda. Make sure the Indian doesn't know he or she is an Indian. Make sure the American Indian has no power, no say so in our system. Make sure the Indian has no unification in their communities and their families. And so, what we got to work on as everybody grow and as everybody learn and as everybody research and realize who they are, we have to embrace who we are, accept who we are, and walk and talk as our ancestors. Do you feel me? That's what it's all about, people. See? So that's what the village is all about, sharing and caring. Do you feel me? I'm here, people. I'm here in the village, as you can see. My banner backdrop, as as you see, I'm here in the village, and I just want to give everybody an update. So tomorrow I will be doing a conclusion and sharing and touching on some of the things that I talked about in the first chapter, the second chapter, and the third chapter of American Indian matriarchy and religion. You feel me? So I'm gonna tell you why these guys, again, I'm gonna share even Sunday, I'm gonna share tomorrow, why these guys are chauvinistic, sexist, biased, and bigots. I'm talking about the people, many of the writers, many of the so-called historic writers of American Indian history and culture, leaving information out, lying about information, claiming they don't, oh, we don't know why, the Indians' religion, there's no details to what they actually did. No, you don't want us knowing what they actually did. But the information is there. It's fragmented, and we get it and put it together like a piece of a puzzle, and we can see what's going on. So, that being said, people, I'm going to enjoy tomorrow. I hope you guys show up. I hope my indigenous brothers and sisters show up Sunday. You feel me? And if you don't show up, I'm going to still do what I got to do. But I'm hoping you guys show up Sunday. Call in. It ain't going to cost you a dime, just a bit of your indigenous time. Call in. If you don't do nothing but call in and say, what's happening, JC? Keep doing what you're doing. You feel me? Chime in at 518-425-1735. Again, that is 518-425-1735. And the conference key to get through the door is 976776. 976776. And you can join me right here at the Village Chat Lounge Room, and everybody can hear you and I can hear you. We can enjoy each other's company and drop nothing but information and share and care, people. That's what it's all about as American Aborigines. It's all about us sharing and caring and networking together. You feel me? So I'm hoping that my people can chime in and join me. And if you don't, it's all gravy and potatoes. But give me a minute, people. Give me 1 minute. I'll be right back.
I can get to it. Don't take no breaks, I just do it. Just watch me work, I prove it. I was born with a gift, got the blueprint, top of the class like an A+ student. I am unstoppable. I am unstoppable.
Music licensing reimagined.
I don't have a limit. 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 I don't have a limit, I'm just getting started. I am unstoppable, ask anybody. I just get to it, no time for excuses. I do what I do and I do it again. I really do what I say. Ain't got no time to be playing no games. I just be I'm making the plays. Get money too and I'm winning the race. We got the base. I am unstoppable.
Artlist.io.
I am unstoppable. I am unstoppable. I am unstoppable. I don't have a limit. 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 Pick up the pace. Pick up the pace. Pick up the pace. Pick up the pace.
Music licensing reimagined.
Pick up the pace. Pick up the pace. Pick up the pace. Pick up the pace. Ready, set, let's go. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up, going all the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up.
Artlist.io.
There's nothing you can do to stop it. I've been on the way up cause they know I'm popping.
Hey.
Clean up like the dishes. Ain't no point telling me to stop cause I won't listen. Every level got a new devil.
Okay, people, I'm back. This is JC, a.k.a. Afro Black. I am back. I had to take a break. Had to take me a small, take me a small chronic break, people. Y'all know what I'm talking about when I say a chronic break. Do you feel me? Had to take me a small chronic break. You feel me? Had to grab my trees. You feel me? I'm an Indian. I can't help it. I have to have. Well, I actually do have a peace pipe, but I have to have the peace herbs every now and then. You feel me? So that being said, whoa. Yeah, I had to go get my trees. Whenever I do a show, and even after my show, I have to get the peace pipe, bring peace to the situation. So let me turn this down some more. So yeah, people, I'm gonna conclude this right now and get off the air. But join me tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, West Coast time frame. Join me here. I will be here 3 o'clock p.m. Hopefully sharp as always. You feel me? I think I've only been late one time, waiting for my sister. But join me then. Join me tomorrow at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, West Coast time zone at 3 p.m. here at the Village Roundtable Talk, concluding last Sunday and the Sunday before then. I had 3 more parts. This is the part 4 to American Indian matriarchy and religion. So I'll be concluding that. And then I'll be starting a new podcast topic. And that new podcast topic that I will be starting the week after next will be titled, Why Should We Vote? So, I'm hoping everybody can chime in and give their thoughts on that. Why should we vote? Because but look, I'm just going to tell you my position right now. No. As an American Indian, no, I'm not voting because I don't have no political representation. So that being said, people, I'm going to get out of here. I got to go. So this is just an update and encourage everybody to join me tomorrow. Other than that, I got to go. I'm feeling what I just did, and it's all gravy and potatoes. But I got to go, people. One love. And as always, may the great spirit bring us together under the love of her peace, under her joy. And as always, I love chicken, so love, peace, and chicken grease. I'm outie. One love. Feathers up, everybody.
When I pull up in my ride, whole squad down the slide. If you're scared, go inside. You ain't stopping this grind. And you can catch me in your hood creeping. Yeah, BMW in this beating. Take care of squad, make sure everybody eating. Yeah.
Music licensing reimagined.
Be quiet, gotta play the game smart. Be down to make you move when the ball is in your court. It'll all come to light if it was done in the dark. And don't pull if you ain't down to let it spark. When I pull up in my ride, whole squad down the slide. If you're scared, go inside. You ain't stopping this grind. When I pull up in my ride, whole squad down the slide. If you're scared, go inside.
Artlist.io.
This is the rough run.